Hello and welcome back to Deep Dive Cinema. I'm Elliot.
I'm Meara.
More like deep dive bedtime, am I right?
It's late, boys.
Yeah.
It's deep dive after dark.
Yeah, so it's going to be a shorter one because,
I need to go to bed.
yeah, me too. It's nap time.
We left it a little late tonight, guys, so we're all a little sleepy. And I just want to, right out the bat, I want to say, hey, if you listened to last week's episode, you could probably hear our dog whining in the background.
Oh, really?
I didn't think that it would show up on our microphone, but it sure did.
You see, it's just because we've got such a good microphone, guys.
Yeah, it's probably the highest end microphone ever made.
Yeah.
Alright, Elliot, we're keeping it brief this week, but a few little pieces of news we wanted to discuss. It seems from the toy leaks like Valkyrie is going to be in Avengers Endgame.
Okay, so that kind of ties into the whole Korg isn't dead. It was half of the ship.
Yeah, so it seems like what a lot of people are saying, but also, take everything that the directors of these films say with a grain of salt, because they also said that the title of Avengers Endgame was not said in any previous Avengers film or whatever, and it's been said in 2 Avengers films now, so whatever. But so I believe what they said is that half of the ship that Thor was using to ferry the Asgardians away from the ruin of Asgard was separated, and Korg and Meek and Valkyrie were on there. So how do you think she might end up, wrapped up in the fray? Do you think she could be involved in saving Tony?
Yeah, imagine if Tony was like, okay, Pepper, I'm dying now. I've only got a day's left, half an hour's left of oxygen.
Yeah.
And that's, hey man, it's me, Korg. I'm here.
Well, just there's no toys for Korg, so Korg is not confirmed. Only Valkyrie.
Hey, they didn't think he's in there long enough to get a toy. He's only in that scene.
I saw Tessa Thompson, who plays Valkyrie, posted a year ago a picture of herself in her uniform, but her hair was different than it had been in any of the films previously, and then the toy seems to line up with that pretty well.
Okay, cool.
So the time that she posted, I looked it up, and it matches with the dates during which they were shooting in Scotland at Durham Cathedral, during which time they shot with Cate Blanchett there as well, so possible return for Hela.
Yeah.
And also they had the dummy that they use for Rocket Raccoon's stand-in when they're filming at the time, so maybe a Rocket Valkyrie Hela scene. Also,
she's got that one scene where she gets the turret on the ship and starts shooting. Rocket would have liked that.
Yeah, he sure would have.
Yeah.
The Durham Cathedral in which they are shooting was already used in Avengers Age of Ultron for the flash forward where Thor sees all of the dead Asgardians.
Oh, cool.
So it's the same cathedral, and
I thought it was going to be the cathedral that they blow up in Infinity War.
No, not that one. I don't know. They're both in Scotland, so there's not that many in Scotland, surely. I don't know how big Scotland is.
Welcome to Deep Dive Cinema. We're going to list off every cathedral in Scotland and say whether or not it'll be in a...
They're all probably saint somethings, aren't they? So whatever.
Well.
But so that's interesting that it's using the same. Also, I looked at the set photos, and they brought in a statue of kind of like, I don't know, like a really primitive lion or something, maybe, I would say. Or maybe it's like a kneeling man. I'm not really sure what it is, but it's like quite a primitive statue. And they brought that in for the scenes that are going to be shot for Endgame.
Okay.
And it's also present both during the flash forwards in Age of Ultron, where Thor sees the Ragnarok or what have you.
Yeah.
And it's also in some of the tunnely parts that are in Ragnarok when Heimdall is ferrying people to the cave or what have you.
Okay, cool.
So that's interesting.
Yeah.
I wonder, is that just like a standard piece of Asgardian decoration, or what's going on there?
Maybe it's kind of like, it's like in Pokemon, everyone's got the same statue of Sandshrew. It's
Rhyhorn, isn't it?
I think it changes game to game.
Okay, right.
But,
yeah.
But yeah, maybe it's tied to that.
Could be interesting though. I'm excited to see how that turns out.
Yeah.
Valkyrie is a warrior first and foremost, so I can see her turning up for the battle for the end of the world.
Yeah.
But what kind of capacity do you think Hela might come back in?
I don't know. That's interesting. That kind of surprised me. I didn't think we'd be getting any more of Hela.
I thought she was probably dead.
Yeah. Well, she was on a planet that blew up.
But then again, she's incredibly powerful because she was able to stop Mjolnir and what have you also, so who knows. Some of the early rumors speculated that Thor would go to Hell and team up with Hela to resurrect loads of dead Asgardians a la Ragnarok in order to fight Thanos, but that sounds a little bit too CGI monster mashing CGI monster for me.
Yeah.
But
I don't know if they'd go that route.
No, I don't think so. You said route. We don't say that.
No, I would say the word route, but go that route just
an expression now. Yeah, I feel you. So anyway, that's interesting. Also, there's other toy leaks of all the different Avengers, the varying Avengers in their like white quantum suits or whatever you call them.
Oh yeah.
Which don't look great, I don't think.
No,
especially some more than others. Like the fact that it seems like Iron Man wears his over the top of his regular armor
suit.
and he's just got like his normal head sticking out. Like if he just had a white armor and helmet, like that would be fine.
Yeah.
And Thor and Hulk look especially weird as well.
They do, yeah.
But there's something really satisfying about seeing Nebula and Rocket with Avengers logos on them as well.
Yeah. No, well, I think just in general, looking at Hulk in clothing is weird.
Yeah.
Like there's that picture of artwork of what we think is going to be like Professor Hulk, so he's not quite as bulky, but he's still clearly Hulk, and he's wearing like a t-shirt, and I'm like, Hulk, take that off. What are you doing?
The Hulk toy line pictures that I've seen, he does look more like Bruce than normal as Hulk. You know what I mean? Like his
he's got
features are less maybe animalistic or something. So
and he's kind of lether, isn't he? He's not quite as bulky.
Yeah. No, he's definitely a little bit kind of more intermediate. Yeah. Definitely more Hulk than Bruce. But but still kind of like a 70-30 split or something.
He looks more like you get, especially when he's got a top on, you get more of like a Beast vibe.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I feel that. Yeah. I hadn't even thought about saying this. But we got the Spider-Man Far From Home trailer this week.
And then the international one. Did you watch the international one?
Yeah, it's just like different footage, basically.
Yeah,
mostly it's different footage of the same cut, or different cuts of the same like shots, which is weird. But actually, sorry, before we move on to that, there's also a new toy leak of Thanos wearing a new armor set, which is kind of like a sandstone type color. Like it's actually really looks pretty cool. It looks a lot more like fantasy-esque maybe than his kind of more sci-fi one from Infinity War and previously. And I'm really about it, and it also comes with this like double-ended broadsword type thing.
I was saying, because earlier I was saying I can't wait for him to have a sword, and I don't know if I was talking to you or something, but someone was like, what? No, he doesn't have a sword. But
it does seem kind of like useless for him considering the power he has.
Yeah, no, but I remember seeing like just a little fuzzy picture of a toy, and it looked like he had a sword, and I was super excited for him to have a giant sword.
It's really quite like blunt looking, I suppose, and like two really wide, blades, but like a handle in the middle, and so it's like almost Darth Maul-esque.
Yeah.
I don't know what situation he's gonna use it in, but okay. Who do you want to see him fight? Like, obviously you want to see him fight Hulk again, because I think that was an exciting fight, but who's he going to use the sword on?
It'd be cool if he broke Cap's shield with it.
Yeah, that's true. Going back to Age of Ultron, we saw that shot of Cap's broken shield.
Yeah, that's what I was just thinking of. It would be cool if he stabbed Thor in the chest, and he was like, how do you like it, loser? And
then Thor says, You should have gone for the head.
You should have gone for the axe.
Oh, damn. I'm excited. I think definitely going more of a fantasy route I'm happy with that.
Yeah.
I think this one's going to have bigger kind of like cosmic concepts in it than the previous one.
Yeah, it looks like the concepts are more spacey, but then like the actual things are more fantasy. Like we're going to have Valkyrie, who's quite fantasy. Hawkeye's gone from having a super bow with gadgets to having a sword.
Oh, also in the toy leaks, it does have a Ronin action figure, and it's just labelled as Ronin, not like Clint or Hawkeye. It's just Ronin, so that's pretty cool, because in Infinity War, for instance, Cap was more of like a nomad route, but they never like officially say like he's nomad or anything like that. But this one they've gone full in on he's Ronin, so that's...
I like that.
Yeah, I'm glad that they've not like shied away from that, because I think I mean, I've always really quite liked Hawkeye in the films, personally. I know a lot of people are more like, he's a bit useless, but yeah, I'm glad that he's getting his moment in the
But I also like how he's a bit more useless. Like, I like how he's like, and I'm here too. And
he's a real guy.
Yeah, he's trying his damn hardest.
He sure is.
Hey, he's better than you and me, so let's cut him some slack.
Do you remember the time he brought like literally 13 arrows to the Battle of New York, and then he was like, "I'm out," and everyone was like, "Okay."
I mean, I can't remember what it's from, but there's a clip where it's, "Oh, Loki's in the sky! Quick, Hawkeye, shoot him down!" And he's like, "I can't. I only brought 12 arrows."
Oh yeah, I think that's like a Saturday Night Live sketch or something.
You only brought 12 arrows? Yes, and I killed 12 enemies.
Well, in the film, at least once he shoots an arrow through two dudes' heads. So yeah, good on him.
And he blows up one of those jet skis in the skies.
Yeah, they were vague, weren't they?
Yeah.
It was my understanding, because the Chitauri, who are the alien race from the original Avengers, were not. Also, just for the record, we called it, when it was released here in Ireland, it was called Avengers Assemble, because there's a British film from the 90s called Avengers, was. So sometimes I say like Avengers Assemble just because like that's how I remember it from the posters and stuff.
Said that.
But I just mean the first Avengers, like original recipe. But anyway, I don't even remember what I was going to say about Avengers now.
About the Chitauri.
Oh yeah, so basically it did that video game thing of like you take out the big bad guy and then all the rest of them die as well. Yeah. And I thought that just meant that Chitauri were done for, you know, because I think they tried getting some race of a different alien race, but they couldn't get the rights from Fox or something. Because it was like maybe they first appeared in Fantastic Four or something like that. So they just made up the Chitauri, and I was like, that's it, the Chitauri are dead.
But and then they were in Infinity War.
They were in Infinity War, and originally it was just in flashbacks to when Gamora was a child, and I was like, okay, this was beforehand.
Yeah.
But then there's one of them guarding Nebula while she's being interrogated. And then
she snaps one of their necks when she escapes.
Yeah,
because those things have paper for spines.
They sure do.
Do you remember? Was
dead.
The guy that is his name also Ronan? Ronan with an A.
Yeah, Ronan the Accuser.
Ronan the Accuser. And when he killed, was the guy with the extra thumb also a Chitauri?
No, he's called the Other, I think. I don't know what
he's got kind of like a Chitauri face mask, but his neck gets broken too. So I was like, man, these guys...
There's a lot of neck breaking.
Yeah, these guys just don't have good necks.
No, they sure don't. But apparently, I think the Russo brothers were asked about this, and basically the Chitauri exist as like a species, but they have hives as well.
Okay.
So kind of like subspecies, and you know, if they can be killed as a group.
Oh, were they originally meant to be the Brood?
Possibly, I forget which one it
was.
Because
the Brood are like a Marvel race that are like kind of bug-like, aren't they?
Could well be that. I'm not sure. We'll have to fact check that for the next episode.
Yeah.
So Far From Home. How do you rate this trailer?
Pretty high. It got me very excited, but it didn't spoil anything really. It just kind of gave me a feel for it.
It does kind of leave you with more questions than answers, I think, from it.
Yeah, it's like you get a split second of him in like a Spider-Man noir outfit.
I think that one's technically called the stealth suit, and I imagine that it'll be a case of kind of Nick Fury will say something along the lines of, "Do you not think your classmates are going to get suspicious that Spider-Man is in every city that they go to and you go missing every time, so here's like a darker suit, you know, that you can pretend to be a different vigilante or something, maybe."
Yeah, that makes sense.
But I don't know.
The whole thing of him going to Britain reminds me of, there's an issue where, because obviously in the comics, Gwen Stacy moves to London, and they kind of touched that in the Amazing Spider-Man 2, I think.
But then she dies.
Yeah, but no, she moves to London when her father dies.
Yeah.
And Peter gets permission to go to London, under the condition that he like takes pictures of London for the Bugle. But like the second he gets off the plane, there's a terrorist attack on the plane. So he changes into the Spider-Man, he does that, and then he goes downtown and there's another thing going on, and then he's walking downtown and he sees Gwen and he's like, wait a second, she can't, now that Spider-Man's been here, I can't show up, and she's just going to know that, like, oh, Spider-Man and Peter Parker showed up in London on the same day.
What are the chances that he bumped into Gwen, like, in London?
Yeah.
Such a huge city.
But he was just walking and he was like, oh, there's the love of my life, time to go back to New York.
Time to go back. Guess I'll die.
Oh, yep.
Guess she'll die.
And she did.
Yeah, she sure did.
But yeah, no, I'm looking forward to this.
I think it's quite a good trailer. Yeah, I think it doesn't give away too much, but it piques my interest. I think though that like a good way for me to gauge things is that my girlfriend, has seen most of the Marvel films. I think maybe she missed a few in like phase 1, but you catch up with that pretty quickly. But generally speaking, if a Marvel film comes out, unless it's like really bad, which none of the recent ones have been.
No.
I'll maybe see it a couple of times, so maybe I'll see it with you or one of my mates on like opening night, and then I might see it again a couple of weeks later, or whatever. Yeah. So I've seen most of them with her. So she likes them, and sometimes I'll explain like a concept or an idea to her, whatever. But she's not like a big fan. But I think she and a lot of people I've seen online have had kind of a negative reaction to this trailer because they're just like, wait, how is he still alive? Does this take place before Endgame? And I'm like, no. And then she's like, well, but then how come he's alive? And I have to explain like different possibilities of, potentially this is an alternate universe, or maybe everyone who got snapped thinks that the people who we saw survive got snapped, and these different concepts. But she's just kind of like, oh, I feel like Endgame's not that good. The stakes aren't going to be there now.
Yeah.
Which I understand. I don't think they'll be stupid enough to just be like, and everything went back to normal perfectly.
No.
But also,
there's definitely going to be repercussions.
Yeah, but I do think that this was maybe. Obviously, Sony are marketing this separately from Disney, and they need to sell the movie.
Yeah.
But it would have been really nice if they could have delayed this movie a little bit so that the trailer could have premiered like a few weeks after Endgame came out.
Yeah. I hadn't heard that theory that everyone who was snapped thinks that the other half of the universe got snapped.
Yeah.
Which is interesting because thinking back to it, everyone we see, like the big characters we see in that were snapped, like Meara Hill,
Nick Fury,
Spider-Man. We were told Aunt May was snapped, and all of them are in it.
Yeah, but then again, like he's got all of the same classmates as the previous Homecoming, so the chances of all of them being snapped.
Yeah, but look at how many of the Avengers got snapped.
And also there were it was pretty 50-50 for the Avengers. Yeah, more or less.
It felt
maybe
like
slightly more, but that's how 50-50 randomness works, I guess.
Yeah, it is.
But I think that the. And there's no repercussions for even if it was the other half of the world. Like you wouldn't just be like, "Hey, we're going to London," So
well, that's it, I guess.
Yeah. I don't know.
No, I don't think it's hey, everything's back to normal. Definitely, I think something's happened. But hey,
yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing it. Mysterio
looks so cool.
Looks really cool. I'm on like a big Jake Gyllenhaal kick this last year as well. Like I've seen so many Jake Gyllenhaal films and I've been like, nice.
Yeah.
Including ones that I've seen before, but then I go back to them and I'm like, oh yeah, he's so good.
That,
so I'm excited to see what they do with him. What kind of level of powers do you think he has? Because a lot of people are like, well, he's obviously got magical powers in this, and I'm saying, well, he's obviously an illusion guy. So
yeah.
But there are some damning things, like he breaks a bridge, and when some people are saying like the big monsters like Sandman and Hydro Man, or if that's who they are. But like Hydro Man hits up against the wall and Peter gets like soaked from the water, so that's not like he's getting wet there.
The shield that he puts up against Hydro Man is very
Doctor Strange.
It's very Doctor Strange. I think what if he had magic but it was like illusion-y magic?
Yeah.
So
because in the comics occasionally he does have some magic capabilities, and in the Ultimate Universe.
And often he'll be like, okay, I don't have magic, but I just tricked my way into this museum and now I've stolen a magic tablet, so I have magic because of that.
Personally, I would rather him just be an illusionist, but I think it's possible to go a route where he's got some magic.
I think he'll, just with this Spider-Man, I think it would be the final kind of act would kind of be less impressive if it was like in the Spider-Man game where you just punch him and he's dead, I think instead they'd have him. He'd have some. I think he might have like some illusion magic, and he'll be like very good with tech, and that's how he like makes his illusions.
Yeah.
And I think like they'll kind of treat it like how Iron Man is good at tech, but he doesn't have powers. You know?
like he also has been known to use like gases and stuff that make people hallucinate and are more susceptible to trickery and illusions. So maybe they go down that route. But like the scale of these big elemental monsters fighting each other, like I don't imagine even like peak comic book Mysterio would have had the power to do that and make everyone, like all these people, see the same thing and believe it.
Yeah, I think the villains are real.
Right.
I think that. Yeah, so do you think they're going to go down the line of, these are the Elementals, or do you think it's going to be a team called the Elementals, which is Hydra Man, Sandman, Electro?
So here's my thoughts on this. Let me break it down real quick. So basically, Tom Holland, in an interview with Jake Gyllenhaal, referred to these as the Elementals. Somebody Googled Marvel Elementals when they were writing for, I don't know, Screen Rant or one of these things.
Yeah.
And it was like, they're a race of aliens or whatever. And these dudes literally appear for like 2 issues in something like a Tales to Astonish in like the 70s or whatever. They have no ties to Spider-Man or Mysterio in any way.
Okay.
I think that it's literally just either Hydro-Man, Sandman, Molten Man, for instance.
Yeah.
And they're being referred to as the Elementals because they're...
It's a cool name.
Well, yeah, but also the elemental abilities, more or less,
Yeah.
I don't think that the alien race, the Elementals, have anything to do with this. They're just being referred to that because they have elemental powers, and I'm not sure whether they're genuinely real or not. I think it would be a bit of a stretch to say, like, just each one of these cities that we go to has a different elemental giant being.
Yeah.
But I don't know.
I think it's all going to be orchestrated by
Mysterio.
Mysterio. So Mysterio is going to know that Peter is going to each of these cities.
Yeah.
I think he knows his identity.
You think so?
I mean, like, in the trailer, he was just hanging out in the back of a huge event with his mask off.
Yeah, that's true.
Like, they walked through the doors and he was like, whoop, time to take off my mask. Yeah, it's just me, Peter. So I think he knows, and he's said, like, now you should attack this one, and now you should attack this one. Like, kind of thing where, like, tricked them into saying, like, you've got to take out Spider-Man, and Spider-Man's going to be there. Kind of thing.
I think that's probably right. What do you think Mysterio's end goal is? Because everyone's been pushing quite hard in the promo stuff that like Mysterio and Spider-Man team up. So I think they want to push Mysterio as a good guy, and then obviously that means he won't be.
Yeah.
So, but like, what do you think he's in it for?
What's he kind of in it for in the comic? Because when he first came in, he just kind of wanted to beat Spider-Man
and rob banks and stuff.
Yeah, but like in his first thing, he was like, "I want to prove that I can beat Spider-Man."
Yeah.
But in this one, I kind of think the way that he's maybe tricking these other villains into being places and he can beat them. I think he kind of wants to be a hero.
Maybe he wants to win like a claim. Or maybe he just wants to make a fool of Spider-Man. Maybe he's someone who was kind of like a small-time crook. Spider-Man just embarrassed him in, the kind of like, oh no, small knives, my only weakness kind of way. And
webbing him up by his pants or something.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Maybe it's kind of down that route, but I don't know. One of my favorite runs of Mysterio, though, is like really early on, like must be in the first 100 issues of The Amazing Spider-Man, when Peter's like, I need to go to a therapist as Spider-Man, and he goes to this therapist like several times.
Yeah.
And then it turns out that he goes as Spider-Man. He doesn't give away his identity or anything. But then it turns out that the therapist is Mysterio like the whole time, just like in his regular clothes. And I think it's the first time you see him without like the helmet on and stuff.
Okay, cool.
Also, the helmet. Cool.
Yeah.
Cool, right?
Yeah. And it wouldn't be the first time you've seen without his helmet on, because I've not got to those issues yet, and I've seen without his helmet.
Right.
My favorite Mysterio issue is he takes Spider-Man to this what do you call it, like a film set, yeah. And he shows him this miniature amusement park.
Yeah, and puts him into it.
And he hits him with a laser, and it makes Spider-Man fall asleep. And when he wakes up, he's in an amusement park, and Mysterio is giant in front of him, and he's like, "That ray shrunk you. I just had to hit you, and it would shrink you down, and now you're here." And he starts throwing knives, and the knives are real. So Spider-Man's like, "Oh no!" And he's like, "Finally, I'm able to kill you because you're so weak." And he was saying his intention was to make him go crazy and then kill him.
Yeah.
And then in the end, Spider-Man works out, oh no, he actually just knocked me out with the laser and then brought me to a real amusement park.
Yeah.
And I'm like, Mysterio, you shot him. If that had been a real gun, he would be dead now.
Yeah, but again, it's not about just like... Yeah. There's a pride to it. He doesn't just want to kill him. He wants to beat him.
He wants to beat him. He wants to make him go crazy. He wants to bend his mind. That's kind of...
Well, that's actually... You've brought me to an interesting segue there. So I'm going to get to that in 1 second.
Okay.
But my last question is... do you think that MJ is going to align more with the comic book counterpart in this film? And also, do you think that Mysterio is American or is he going to be European?
He kind of sounds American.
He sounds American, yeah.
He sounds American. I was kind of hoping for him to be European.
Yeah.
I was like, man, if he comes out and he's like, hey, it's me, Mysterio. I was like, oh, that's going to be great. But then he's like, you don't want to be here. So I think he's going to be American because... Okay. I think, it's something along the lines of...
Has he been blacklisted from Hollywood or something?
I don't know, but I think...
Every time you get a Roman Polanski or a Harvey Weinstein, they always run off to France or whatever, where they can evade the law, so maybe that's why he's a bad guy.
No, I think what happened was he knew Peter was going to these places, and so that's why he started showing up there.
Right.
And I think... He's actually American and he has some connection to Spider-Man, and that's why he wants to beat Spider-Man or team up with Spider-Man, that kind of thing.
And MJ?
MJ, yeah, I think she'll be... how do you mean, like, closer to the...
Well, so she's got no similarities with MJ in terms of personality or kind of how she knows Peter in Spider-Man Homecoming. Do you think she'll kind of, start to align a little bit more with comic book counterpart, with, like, the kind of banter that she has with him and the like on and off attitude and stuff? But like she's so reclusive and like I don't know, like a wannabe loner type character, and MJ's literally just like every time she's got a problem, she's just like, I'll just party until I forget about it, So
there's so many issues where Aunt May has had another. She's sick and everyone shows up and MJ's like, well, guess I'm going to put some music on. Yeah. It was like, MJ, stop dancing. make her more like the comic MJ, but just like giving her a scene where she dances.
I don't want her to be exactly the same, but I just... And I have no problem if she was a completely new character either, but I just feel like it's weird that she's got the same name and that's literally the only similarity that she has.
Yeah.
Anyway, okay, speaking of miniature versions of superheroes, my crap comic book character of the week this week doesn't really have a name.
Okay.
It's from a 1958 issue of the original Volume 1 of Superman.
Oh, cool.
I think it's like issue 125 or something like that.
Okay.
So basically, this is back when like you'd have really, really long comic books, but they'd have like 3 stories in them. It'd be like, bumper issue, get it here before your friends.
You got that a lot with Batman, where it was a Batman and Robin comic.
And then a Robin one at the end.
It was called the Batman and Robin comic, but it wasn't what we know Batman and Robin as in like the duo. It was you would get a Batman comic and then you would get a Robin comic, and at the end of each they'd be like, hey, we live in the same house.
Yeah, well, basically that. It's just 3 stories, but they're all about Superman, or maybe one of them's like Lois Lane or something.
Yeah.
But anyway, this is just a really stupid story. It's basically he's doing his thing. He's just being Superman.
Being the best guy around.
Yeah, he's got no weaknesses.
No.
Apart from kryptonite, which always finds its way into the story somehow. But anyway, he's just chilling, grilling, trying to stack these millions.
Yeah.
And then some kind of earthquake type business starts happening. He's like, I'm going to burrow into the earth and fix the tectonic plate under Metropolis. So he does. He goes under there. Then he finds like a little red rocket ship. It's like a tiny rocket ship.
How tiny are we talking?
Like smaller than a man.
Okay. Because I was like, does it land on your fingertip? Small?
Okay, no. It's like pretty small.
Okay.
And he's like, this must be alien, and how did it get here? It must have been burrowed by the tectonic movements or whatever. And he's like, it would be a nice trophy, though. So he tries picking it up, but it makes him feel weird, so he puts it down.
Probably full of kryptonite.
No, it wasn't, actually. But he goes back up, and then it's like flash forward, and everyone's like, oh my god, can you believe Superman's new power? And he's kind of just like glum. And everyone's like, his new power is so amazing. And you're like, what?
I think I know this one.
Oh, do you?
Keep going.
No, tell me what you think happens.
Is he able to shoot a smaller version of himself out of his hands?
Yeah.
And isn't he sad because the smaller version is getting all the spotlight?
That's exactly it. Where did you hear about this one?
I can't remember, but the second you were like small Superman, my mind went like a million miles an hour. I was like, oh no, it's the tiny Superman.
Yeah, that's it. So he loses all of his regular powers. So he's still like bulletproof or whatever, but he's got no flight or anything anymore. Okay. So like a car hits him and he goes flying and he's like, ow, and then they shoot him and he's like, well, that didn't do anything, but like I don't have super strength and I can't fly.
Okay,
so
I'm just gonna deal with it.
Yeah, but he can project a miniature, like, I don't know, 12-inch version of himself, which has all of his powers. So he's always just like, all right, little guy, off you go. But he gets really glum about it because he's like, well, how come he gets the powers and it's just me controlling this little guy?
Yeah.
And everyone's like, shut up, Superman, show me mini Superman. And he starts calling it Imp. Because he's angry at first. He's like midget me or like mini me or whatever, and then it turns into you ungrateful little super imp or whatever.
I love him. So I've never actually read this comic. I've just heard of the story. Does he like have control over it? Is it like a drone or is it like just an individual person?
So this is the thing: it's kind of vague. At first, he's like, I'll just send it to do what I do. So like the Eiffel Tower's under attack and he's like, time to go. Oh, I can't do it. I have to send Super Imp. So he's like, off you go, little guy, go save the Eiffel Tower. So he like whizzes across the world in a second and stops whatever's happening.
Yeah.
And he's like, yes, I've instructed him to do that. But then next time something happens, it like does it before he gives the instructions and he's like, hold on a second, I didn't give those instructions yet. Like, he's acting on my thoughts before I've even vocalized them.
Yeah.
And then he's like, wait a second, is this guy alive or what's going on? But it's kind of weird then because suddenly he's like who's controlling this? Like, does it have a mind of its own?
Yeah. Okay, that's actually quite.
It's really weird. It's like oddly existential, and it's kind of like if he's my puppet, then who's like, am I someone's puppet or something? But then there's a meteor shower of kryptonite. It's like, okay. All right.
When that planet blew up, just spent the next 60 years, the entirety of it coming to Earth.
It's everywhere.
And what happened to it to make it turn into all the different colors, you know?
I don't know. Imagine if soil killed you. That's basically what kryptonite is.
Can you imagine if like that worked for the Kree or whatever? Like this Miss Marvel, as she flies to their planet, she gets mud and her film is just her throwing it and like scrolling like, oh no, dirt.
My only weakness, dirt. So
there's a meteorite shower.
He's like, I gotta save the world, but then he's like, oh no, I can't do it. I have to send the little guy. But then the little guy's like already gone, and he's like, by God, he's even better than me. That stupid little imp. I wish I had my powers back. So he basically, it's like killing the little guy, but he pushes the meteors away so they land in isolated places.
Okay.
And then just these random guys come across one of them, and they're like, hey, it's got kryptonite, we'll kill Superman. There's no story for them. They don't even have names. They're just like, we'll kill Superman.
Screw that guy.
So they put the kryptonite meteor in like a trebuchet.
Okay.
And they're just going to yeet it at Superman.
It's the perfect plan. So like Batman just lasered it into a sharp point. They're just like, if we just chuck it at him, it should do the job.
Yeah. You mean Batman?
Yeah, what did I say?
Superman.
No.
Superman himself. He's like, this will be great for killing me.
Maybe he got jealous of the imp. He's like, next time, buddy. I'm coming for you.
So these dudes eat it at Superman, and he's going to die because he can't get out of the way quick enough. He doesn't have super speed.
He's just running like a regular guy.
Yeah. And little dude comes and deflects it, but dies. He disintegrates in the process. And then Superman goes, gee, was he just protecting me because it was self-preservation kicking in and my thoughts were controlling him? Mm-hmm. Or was he alive and he just sacrificed himself for me? I don't know, anyway, and then that's the end. And then there's never any mention of him again.
No answers.
There's no answer. So he just is this little dude who... And then he gets his powers back, so he's fine.
Okay.
And that's it. So there's no conclusion, there's no like moral of the story. It's just like, what would happen if this happened? Well, here's what happens. And that's it. So this is the worst story because it's interesting part of it. There's no context. It just is.
Yeah.
And then they move on.
You don't know why he gets that ability. You don't know who the...
It's like a what-if story of, what if he could just project a mini version of him? Haha, that'd be funny.
Anyway.
Back to our regularly scheduled.
Anyway, in the next issue, he gets a gorilla pet or whatever.
Does he?
In that era, if you put a gorilla on the front of a issue, it would sell like twice as well or something.
It's Gorilla Grodd.
No, that's a fact. If you put a gorilla on the front of a comic, it would sell like... It would have like 130% increase.
God, did you see that? Do you ever read that issue where Lois Lane turns herself black?
What?
Did you not know about this?
God.
I forget the story. I think it's something to do with like... I don't know. I could be kind of mixing it up with something else, but I think she's like... I want to be able to write journalistic pieces relating to like the inner city or whatever, so she just gets in a machine that turns her black.
What? Why would they do that?
It's so bad. What an era.
Speaking of the different coloured kryptonite, do you know there's a pink kryptonite that just makes Superman gay?
Yes, I did know that. There's several of them. Why is nearly all of it green and then
there's a red one that makes him angry or something?
Yeah, I don't...
but there'd be issues where there'd be like Superman and a gorilla on the front cover, and you'd read the issue and there'd be no gorilla in it. They just knew that
they basically invented clickbait.
Yeah, but people just wanted gorillas.
Yeah, I mean, I relate, to be honest.
Yeah,
I'm more likely to buy it too.
Can you imagine if like an issue of Spider-Man just had Spider-Man and a gorilla hanging out? I'd buy that issue.
I bet there's an issue with Kraven or something with a gorilla on the cover.
Well, he's got the villain, the Gibbon.
Yeah,
who's
like twice, I think.
Yeah, I read his first.
Yeah, he's a weird villain.
Yeah, he's like, hey, Spider-Man, do you want to team up with me? And Spider-Man's like, no, you're ugly. So he turns into a villain.
I mean, we've all been there.
Spider-Man just starts tearing into him. He's like, oh man, look at you in your monkey costume, you idiot. You look so ugly. And this guy's like, I've literally been called ugly my whole life. I was an orphan and no one would adopt me because I was too ugly. And now Spider-Man's making fun of me. I'm gonna tear down New York City.
It's the most un-Spider-Man-like thing as well. It's so weird. Ugh. Comic books, man, are absolutely wild.
And then Kraven like makes a telepathic bond with him, and he's like, I was able to do it because you're so ugly. And he's like, well, now I'm going to kill Kraven too. Everyone in Marvel Comics just calls this guy ugly, and then
it's
ends
like
up
a
making
school
him
shooter waiting to happen, isn't it? It's like, some of y'all are alright, don't come to New York tomorrow. Anyway, comic books. Not even once. Elliot, this has already gone on longer than I expected today's issue to go on, so that's life, I guess.
Yeah, that is.
But more content for you to listen to on your way to work or the gym, or
way to the gym.
If you live really far away from the gym.
I feel like it's like a 37-minute walk to the gym.
I meant for when you're in the gym.
Are you sure there's no gym closer? Probably, but it's my podcast time is walking to the gym, and then I work out in silence. They've got the music on in the gym, and I just put my earplugs in and start gaining.
To be fair, you'd probably listen to something with a little bit more quality while you're in the gym.
Yeah, fair enough.
So we're kind of like the filler episode.
We're the warm up.
Someone said to me that they take a bath once a week and they listen to this podcast in the bath.
What?
So,
congratulations, you're now our #1 listener.
Yeah, we've got like 5 viewers a week or something, so
it's one of you.
Think about, like, if we added up all the minutes of all of these issues, I think we're on issue 20 maybe, so like, that's a lot of baths.
Yeah, it is.
That's probably like 20 hours worth of bath and listen to us talk nonsense.
I've got a friend who keeps trying to listen to the podcast but has to stop because he keeps responding to what I say and then he looks like an idiot.
We should have him on one week and just ignore him.
Anytime he answers, like, so anyway, back to this issue with Superman.
Oh, Lord. I can't believe anyone actually wastes their time, but thank you very much if you are one of those people.
We really do appreciate it.
Yeah. So, I heard from an interview with Anna Boden and Ryan Fleck or something like that. I think they're the name of the directors of Captain Marvel.
Yeah.
Something like that. I'm not.
Are they a couple?
Maybe. No, I don't think so.
Okay.
Could be.
Maybe.
I don't know, but like they nearly always work together. I think they've done like a couple of projects on their own, but they're like
they work well as a couple.
Yeah. Well, they said that they based a lot of Captain Marvel on 1990s action films.
Mm-hmm.
So in the lead up to this, I rewatched, Terminator 2 Judgment Day, a bunch of these films, but one of them that I had never seen before was Total Recall.
Yes.
And I decided that was probably going to be a pretty important watch because
it's all about false memories and what's real and what's not.
Replacing memories, and obviously Captain Marvel, that's going to be pretty integral to the plot, I imagine, based on the trailers and what have you.
Mm-hmm.
So we watched that this week. I read it first of all. I read the script.
Read the script. You read some out to me. And
the script was written in 1989, and it's written by 4 dudes, and it's based on a novel by Philip K. Dick, who did Android's Dream of Electric Sheep and stuff like that. So a really a great author.
Yeah.
But the script and the film itself really is such garbage. It's so sleazy, and just the action is ridiculous, and the script written by 4 people and adapted. I could not believe how amateur it was. There's a paragraph where basically it's and then
it was a fight scene, and they were describing the things he does, and it was he catches the gun, and then he punches Thug 1, and then and you didn't need to write "and then" for every direction.
It's like a 8-line paragraph with no punctuation or anything, just and then, and it's exhausting reading it. I understand sometimes, maybe more so in kind of literature, novel writing and what have you, than in script writing. Sometimes you write it in a specific kind of way or without punctuation in order to give it a faster pace or something.
Yeah. But you don't need that on a script.
No, you don't need that on a script. That should be there for the director to decide.
Yeah.
But yeah, basically the premise of the film, if you haven't seen it, I believe they remade it in 2012 or something.
Yeah, it wasn't very good.
I'm sure. But the premise is this guy lives in the future, and he's I really want to go and live on Mars. I'm obsessed with the idea of Mars, and he dreams about
dreams of Mars, yeah.
And it's a big mining world on Mars, basically. So he goes to this place called Recall, who implant false memories for you, so you can pretend you've been there.
Yeah, everyone tells him, don't go to Recall.
Well, everyone who tells him not to knows his secret, though. So
but
they're
everyone's
trying to prevent him.
Don't go to Recall, and then he leaves, and it cuts to them, and they pull an evil face or something.
So he tries getting the memories implanted, and they're he's actually been to Mars. So it turns out that his whole life was actually an implant.
The thing is, though, he applies for fake memories that say he's a secret agent, and he goes to Mars.
Yeah.
And he has to fight bad guys, and he gets a girl.
Yes.
And then that kind of happens.
Yeah, it does. And then they try and convince him that this is just an implant and stuff. So.
Yeah, so it's kind of layers of, what's real.
So yeah, he gets false memories put in over the top of his already false memories, and then the whole film is about him trying to get back to who he was originally.
Yeah.
But then who he was originally is actually a bad guy. Yeah. So he's kind of the villain himself.
Yeah.
So it's really interesting, actually, I guess, how he plays different versions of characters. He plays this guy who's got a job at a quarry drilling, and then he plays the secret agent, and then he plays the villain. So, I say plays, it's Arnie, so he can't act at all.
He just says the lines and goes, ah ha ha ha.
He just goes, whenever he's fighting.
And then the camera just pans to his biceps.
Yeah. They're the real stars of the movie.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, though, this film really made me want to read the book. Because
that being said, though, I've read a few Philip K. Dick novels, and I think the concepts are great, but sometimes you're this is a lot of menial backstory and stuff.
Yeah. No, but just in the way that I was man, if this film was kind of better written, it could have been amazing, really mind-blowing. And then I was well, probably the book was that.
I think the book's called, We'll Sell It to You Wholesale or something, or We'll Sell the Memory to You Wholesale or something.
Yeah.
I've read The Man in the High Tower and Android's Dream of Electric Sheep, and I think they're both really cool concepts.
Yeah.
The Man in the High Castle.
Okay.
That's about a world where the Allies lost the war.
Okay.
So Germany rules most of the world, and then Japan rules the west coast of the US, and it takes place in San Francisco. It's cool.
Big Hero 6.
Yeah, exactly. Probably copied Big Hero 6, the manga, and then Disney
film. Yeah. Everything's always ripping off Big Hero 6.
It sure is. Yeah. I like that film, but the original Big Hero trilogy, the second trilogy wasn't as good. 6 was. I don't know why 6 was so famous compared to Big Hero 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5.
Big Hero 4 really was the peak of that franchise.
With The Rock, love it.
Too Big, Too Hero.
Yeah, that was what it was called. Wait, The Rock wasn't in Too Fast, Too Furious, so but okay.
Well, they're different franchises, Meara.
Oh, you're right. But yeah, so we watched this the other day. Well, last night actually.
Yeah.
And we watched it because I wanted to kind of be clued up on it, because I bet it'll be referenced in Captain Marvel and stuff. But I was thinking about how this will work, because all we know really about Captain Marvel is that it takes place during the Kree-Skrull War.
Yeah.
If anyone listening is unfamiliar, the Kree are a race who in the comics are blue. Sometimes in the films they're blue, sometimes they're not. We've previously seen Kree in Guardians of the Galaxy, and Ronan the Accuser is like a
Kree
fundamentalist, a fanatic Kree. And the Skrull are a shape-shifting race.
But they kind of look like goblins, they're green and they have pointy ears.
Exactly, yeah. Which, by the way, in the Captain Marvel trailer, it shows the transformation, one of the new ones.
I've still not seen that one.
It's like their flesh burns away. It looks really painful.
Oh, okay.
I always imagined it in the comics as just like an instant transformation.
Especially with Hulkling.
Yeah.
Because Hulkling is
like
kind
part Kree, isn't he?
Hulkling is part Kree, but his like natural state is a big Hulk-like kind of dude. But his is kind of like his body just kind of like changes almost like rubber and kind of warps into different things.
I definitely didn't think it'd be painful.
No.
But anyway, so the Kree are basically this big, like, sprawling militaristic race who want to rule the galaxy. No, sorry, the Kree. I said the Kree, right?
Yeah, you said the Kree.
The Kree, yeah. And the Skrull are constantly award them and have kind of like really guerrilla tactics where they infiltrate the Kree and pretend to be Kree.
Yeah.
But generally speaking, in the Kree-Skrull conflict in the comics, the Skrull come out far worse. They have their homeworld destroyed, so they basically have to try and assimilate into other worlds. So the idea is that many people on Earth, including some, big superheroes, could be Skrull, trying to basically make the world habitable for the Skrull in the future.
So with the Skrull, kind of what happened at the first was the Skrull and the Kree. I was going to call them the Kree and the Skrull.
Yeah.
The Skrull and the Kree wanted a war, but they were like, if we do it on our own planets, we'll mess up our own planets. We'll do it on Earth as kind of our battlefield.
Yeah.
And then later on, the Skrull lost, so they were like, we need a new planet. We'll kind of try and take over Earth.
Terraform Earth or what have you.
Yeah. So they're always at Earth, but for different reasons.
Read the Secret Invasion comic book before going into Captain Marvel, because I think that's a really interesting one where several big characters turn out to have been Skrull for some time. It's interesting. And the Skrull go back to like the 60s. They're, pretty old now.
Yeah.
But anyhow, it seems like in this, Captain Marvel is going to be aligned with the Kree. She's with the Star Force and Ronan the Accuser and Minerva and Yon-Rogg and all these people.
Yep.
And she's like, obviously the Skrull are the bad guys.
Yep.
But I imagine then that it's actually going to turn out towards the end of the film that she's got false memories implanted by the Kree in order to make her align with them. And she's going to become disenfranchised with the Kree. But then maybe it'll turn out that she'll be told that she's had these false memories implanted by Yon-Rogg, who's actually a Skrull impersonating Yon-Rogg or something like that. Yeah. And so it'll really be about questioning what her past actually is, whose side she's on. And then there's the line in the trailer where she says, I'm not going to fight your war, I'm going to end it. Yeah. And I think that'll actually be from pretty far into the film.
I think at the end she's going to be like, right, both of you have been playing with me. I hate both of you. Leave me alone.
It's really an interesting depiction in the comics, though, because there's no good side to either of these. Both of them have characters who are good. Like, there are Kree and Skrull. Like, the original Captain Marvel was a Kree dude.
Yeah.
And was a hero, He came to, like, spy on Earth, and then he fell in love with it. He's a good dude. And, again, like Hulkling and there's a character in The Runaways who's a Skrull, and these are good dudes.
Which character in The Runaways is a Skrull?
There's the lady who lights up like all the colours, and then someone's added who's a dude, and then she's like, actually, I'm gay, and then the Skrull like, appears as a woman instead.
I forgot about that.
Yeah, so there are good Skrulls. Yeah.
The Skrull's just like, yo, what's up? We're going to get married, and she's like,
okay, but I'm into girls.
And this girl's like, no problem for me.
No problem. That'd be weird. Imagine just like...
I think with the Skrull it was like, I change so often that it doesn't matter.
Yeah, I know, but imagine like the knowledge that this person was just like, I can be whatever you want me to be as well. Like, that'd be weird.
Yeah.
Because if they could change like that, just be like, well, why don't you look exactly like my ideal person or something?
Yeah, because they do like look like a human. They do turn. They're like, right, I'll be a human then. And she was like, okay, cool.
Yeah.
And then she just disappears into space to get married.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
She comes back though.
Yeah.
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 So yeah, do you think? I don't know. Do you think there's going to be a winner of the war in this?
No, I think. I don't know. I feel like the Kree are more likely to have. I think it won't end. It'll be like Kree victory. It'll be more like Kree have gotten more of a hold on the universe. You know.
That being said, though, the fact that Kree, the fact that like Ronan the Accuser and Korath are Kree who exist in Guardians of the Galaxy like 20 odd years later. But they're just like chilling on this big ship instead of having this like armada homeworld or something. Yeah. Maybe they're more like kind of like floating around, like they have less of a.
But they were seen as fanatics because if you remember the Nova Corps like call up the Kree and they're like, "Hey Kree, can you stop this?" And the Kree's like, "It's not
we want nothing to do with it.
It's not my problem." And then Nova are like, "God damn it, guys."
They've probably got plenty on their plates with just the impending Skrull War anyway, though. So, do you think any of the main Avengers are Skrull in disguise?
I was saying that I thought it would make sense if War Machine was a Skrull.
Yeah.
Just because he's been there for so long, but he's not been like a huge major player.
He doesn't really have a backstory.
He doesn't have a backstory. Obviously, there'd be like a little joke because his actor changed.
Yeah.
I think you could get in like a. Oh, you kind of look a little different, and he doesn't, but like we know that like the actor
understand.
Changed. I think it would make sense for him.
Yeah.
Because I feel like they wouldn't. Obviously, they did it in. Was it Secret War or Secret Invasion?
Both, I think.
Yeah, they'd be like, oh, and this character's been...
Wait, no, Secret Invasion, sorry, not Secret War.
Okay, Secret Invasion, they'd be like, oh, this character's a Skrull, and, you know, people would be like, okay, but, like, it's going to change in a couple of years, whereas I think with the films, they're less likely to just change in a couple of years. So people would be kind of, oh, all the kind of character development you've seen for Tony, it's gone now, you know. I think people would be very unhappy with that. So
I think I would be probably.
Yeah, so I think it'd be more likely that a lesser player, but like he's good because
Nick Fury could be one.
I think Nick Fury and War Machine, because both of them have high up jobs in the Earth military and like secret forces. They've got connections to the Avengers.
Additionally, if it was your job to look after Earth so that the Skrull could eventually come and arrive there, has anyone put more effort into defending the Earth than Nick Fury?
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. But
and because of kind of the secrecy at S.H.I.E.L.D. and stuff, like if Nick Fury dies in Captain Marvel, it like because of the way that S.H.I.E.L.D. works and the secrecy within it, it wouldn't be that difficult for someone to just be like, yep, it's me, I look exactly like him and I've got his ID card or whatever. And I'm like, that's all you need.
Yeah. Also, I think both of them are good because they're like high up jobs. They have influence. Like Rhodey is Tony's right hand man, and
so you think that because Iron Man Tony was basically like the first superhero, he would have like latched onto him and been like, I'll keep an eye on this guy because he's going to be an influential figure.
Yeah, and then he's been there kind of the whole way, you know. Yeah. He's always, and he's been best mates with the president, and he's
it's the Skrull, generally speaking, if they have any powers, they cannot also replicate people.
Yeah.
So they can't replicate someone's powers either. So if
that kind of cuts out Doctor Strange.
Yeah, if a Skrull was impersonating Bruce Banner, for instance, he wouldn't be able to turn into the Hulk.
He could either be the Hulk or Bruce Banner.
Yeah, pretty much. Additionally, if he was Thor, I don't think he'd be able to wield Mjolnir or... Like, some of these are really convincing, like they can trick like Peter's spider sense and things like that, but they also can't mimic powers, like they just mimic. Yeah. So it basically needs to be someone who's non-powered, like Black Widow or Rhodey, but, they can mimic to a certain extent.
Yeah, but that's another reason why both of those are good, because they don't have powers, but they have power. Like, they have influential power, and like Rhodey has a suit that any Skrull could wear and any human could wear, you know? And
could any of the Guardians, everyone's thinking about the Avengers, but could any of the Guardians be Skrull?
Yeah. Probably not Groot.
Probably not, no.
Because I know that's not his power, that's just his biology, but it's too close to powers, you know?
Yeah. Rocket? Could Rocket be a scroll? A tiny scroll?
I mean, yeah, I guess. It'd be funny. I don't think Peter would, because they already did the scan of his body.
Yeah, that's true.
And he had powers for a while. He could have powers after that.
Yeah, true.
He could have been replaced post Guardians 2.
Drax?
I feel like Drax has got too much. Drax kind of got
so
powers.
durable.
Do you remember in Guardians 2 when like he hits every tree? Yeah, and like that guy should be dead.
Well, that's kind of his thing though, is that he should be just super. Oh, I tried reading a Drax run this week from 2005 or something like that, and it sucked. Oh, yeah? I didn't even make it through the first issue.
What was so, like?
Oh, I don't. They're on Earth in Alaska looking for something, and I don't know. There's so much talking, and I'm like,
Drax isn't about that.
Drax, just punch something, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I kind of like that kind of aspect of Drax where no one's quite sure what his powers are or quite how durable he is, but like
pretty damn durable.
He's out in space with his bare chest and he's like, what's up?
He was thrown into like a vat of spinal fluid, and who God knows how long he was in there, and he was just pulled out, and he was like, hello.
Yeah. I'm good to go.
Yeah.
Drax is so good, actually.
Yeah, do you know he's human in the comics?
He was a saxophone player, wasn't he? He was brought back from the dead. What if we find out that he is a Skrull and he just came up with those? He was like, oh yeah, I've got a wife who died, and then someone's like, no, you're a saxophone player from New Orleans.
He's like, yeah. Sometimes I just think though, like, no matter how many of these films they make or whatever, they're never going to be as weird as the comics, and that's both good and bad.
Yeah. You're never going to have this character who's this weird barbarian in space, and then you find out, he's a
sax player.
Yeah.
I've not been that excited for Captain Marvel, but I feel like in the last few weeks I'm like, damn, that's close now. Like, it's picking up a little bit of speed for me.
What happened was the trailer took ages to arrive, and I was like, I'll be excited when the trailer arrives, and then it arrived and I wasn't.
The trailers weren't that good until the newest like TV spot one, which is good.
And then it's been like the last couple of weeks I've been like, actually, I read a Captain Marvel comic, we watched Total Recall, and I was like, no, actually, I'm kind of looking forward to it now. I want to see what they do with it, because
me too.
The trailers made it feel like it was really just like a beat by beat, the same kind of superhero thing, but I think they're going to do something new and more interesting, and it's going to be more war-ish, and it's going to kind of touch in a different genre, and I'm looking forward to that.
Someone suggested to me that her memories could actually be like the future, and that basically she does like a river song, like her timeline exists in reverse or something like that.
If they wanted to touch on like Terminator going through, because he just got time travel, that might be cool.
Well, Samuel Jackson said that she could time travel. I don't believe that. Like, comic book Carol Danvers has no time travel ability. Like, I'm sure she's probably been through time at some stage due to something else, but like,
I don't think she'll have a time travel power, but I think she'll have like something that'll let her time travel.
Like what?
I don't think she'll
fly around the Earth backwards.
I don't think she will have, but I think she would. If she did time travel, it would be like, okay, here's a bit of tech.
Yeah,
that
maybe.
lets you time travel.
Okay. But more whose tech would she
I don't know. It kind of reminds me of in the Endgame footage, they've all got a watch on the back of their hand, something like that.
Yeah, but do you feel like they'd have that in the 90s as well?
Maybe someone from the future gives it to her.
Yeah, maybe. Who knows? Well, we're not that far away now, so I guess we'll find out in the coming weeks. We're going to try and see that opening night?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or closest to.
Yeah. Cool. All right. Well, look forward to an issue on that when it comes out. As for us, I think that's all we've got to go over this week. We kind of touched on only a few topics, but I think we did a pretty good dive into them. So
yeah. Okay. Well.
Yeah. Great. Well, thank you very much for listening.
A deep dive into them.
Oh, dude, we should make a channel called that.
Yeah.
Damn.
Can we talk about like cinema, film, that kind of thing? Yeah.
That sounds dumb.
All right.
Thanks for listening. Give us a follow on Twitter and Instagram at Deep Dive Cinema. Don't forget to leave a like and hit the bell icon.
Hit that subscribe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You ever see that video of Fred from Scooby-Doo where he says like hidden treasure?
Yeah.
I love it.
I'm a fan.
Just wanted to put that out there.
And that's your homework for this week. Just go watch that video.
See you next week.
Bye-bye.